In this video, we'll examine the story happening in Britain in 2011. 17-year-old Emily Longley was confident and had a brilliant future looking for her. However, sadly, the entirety of her arrangements imploded. This case caused an extraordinary reverberation, not just due to the passing of a young lady. Yet additionally, in light of how situation developed after her demise, Emily Longley was brought into the world in Britain in 1994 to Czech and Caroline Longley. 2 years after the fact, her folks had another kid, Emily's more youthful sister Hannah. From youth, the young ladies were exceptionally near one another. They lived in a cherishing and caring family. When Emily was 9 and Hannah was 7, the family moved to New Zealand. Auckland turned into their new home when Emily fell in with some unacceptable group. Subsequent to moving to New Zealand, her middle-class guardians sent her back to the UK to begin another existence with her grandparents. In 2010, Emily traveled to Britain to learn at Brockenhurst School. She needed to get a business degree and longed for turning into a model in Britain. She inhabited her grandparents' house in Bournemouth. Bournemouth, neighbouring Poole in the west, is a town in the region of Dorset, a well-known retreat on the English Channel coast. When Emily moved to Britain, her sister Hannah was currently at school, and her folks' imprint and Caroline separated yet kept a cordial relationship. Emily was a lovely young lady who pulled in much consideration. One day she met 20-year-old Elliot Turner. He established all in all a connection with her. Progressively, their correspondence developed into a heartfelt connection. In April 2011, Emily got back to New Zealand to visit her family, whom she had not seen for around a half year. Her dad met her at the air terminal. She approached him and embraced him firmly, saying she missed him. Especially Emily had an exceptionally cozy relationship with her dad, who adored her frantically and missed her grin, chuckling, and messy jokes. The next day, the entire family went to Emily's one pizza joint. She differentiated her folks that from concentrating on in school, she was taken part in displaying and made a few mind-blowing companions. She likewise referenced the man she was dating, 20-year-old Elliot Turner. They had just been dating for a couple of months, and she couldn't help suspecting that she was excessively youthful for something serious. "I believe I will end it when I return," she said. Emily went through the following couple of weeks, spending time with loved ones. She lived it up. Nobody thought they would, before long, lose her. At the point when Emily's flight began loading up, it was difficult for her to express farewell to her family anyway. Emily guaranteed she would be back in 5 months. She needed to see the matches of the Rugby World Cup, which was to start on September 9th, while messaging with her dad a couple of days after the fact. Emily informed him about saying a final farewell to Elliot, yet she didn't delve into subtleties. Elliot acted peculiarly subsequent to seeing the photographs of Emily that she posted on informal communities. While in New Zealand, there were folks in these photographs, and Elliot was exceptionally envious. The child of a well-off diamond setter, Elliot Turner was 20 years of age, and his life appeared to be light-hearted. Turner was notable in the nearby bar and club scene in the Bournemouth and Poole regions, and was essential for a group of rich young fellows considered the firm considered by his companions. All discussion Turner, due to his flaunting. He met Emily in December 2010. The couple partook in the lap of luxury at the hotel, and frequently had some good times until late around evening time. Yet Turner, who had a background marked by fixation on ladies, before long gave indications of envy. Thus their relationship rapidly escalated into savage contentions. Certain individuals portrayed him as an individual showing a compromising, forceful, fierce, controlling, and possessive nature. In January 28, when he was 16, he got a provocation cautioning letter from the police telling him not to contact his ex, after he besieged her with instant messages since she said a final farewell to him. Turner cherished being at the focal point of consideration. He didn't have to work professionally. His folks gave him all that he wanted. Elliot capably controlled individuals, including his folks. His life was about parties, ladies' liquor, and unlawful substances. He viewed himself as a man who can do anything he needs. Elliot conveyed a mallet with him in the event that anybody attempted to go against him. his companions accepted that Turner liked himself a criminal and needed to turn into the one everybody went to for help. He could come to the bar and purchase everybody a beverage. Elliot boasted about driving another Mini Cooper. Yet, it was a gift from his grandma. He attempted to keep up with his terrible kid picture, with a progression of evidently streetwise messages on informal communication destinations, where he frequently alluded to himself as Scarface or God. He didn't need female consideration, however, when he met Emily. He turned out to be extremely joined to her. She commended his picture of an effective individual, which he endeavored to make as their relationship created. Turner began showing his controlling conduct increasingly more frequently. He even undermined Emily that he would take her life in a close-to-home request to Turner. Emily composed a note to him a couple of months before her demise, saying 1. I love both of you. Don't say you'll kill me. 3. Quit discussing your exes. 4. Quit being so continually forceful. Be more cool. That is quite a lot more hot, and you make me frightened 'cause you're so scary. At the point when Turner started to show his actual face, and while his controlling way of behaving began to go past all sensible cutoff points, Emily understood that he was not the individual she needed to be with. However, individuals like Turner don't figure out dismissal. On the night of May 6, 2011, Emily was with companions in one of the diversion settings. Observation cameras caught how she came to a club with her companions. That night, Turner read her Facebook messages and found that Emily was dating another man. It annoyed him. He came to the club and began contending with Emily. This entire story finished with the young lady tossing her beverage right in front of him. Turner loudly mishandled her and undermined her with savagery he could have done without Emily's outfit. He thought it was excessively uncovering. He excused the way that Emily had said a final farewell to him. The man won't let her go. Elliot destroyed her night, so she chose to leave. Yet her ex followed her. His companions heard him say, I will kill her. I will go to jail for itself, nevertheless be a mogul. I would complete 10 years, it wouldn't annoy me. Turner found Emily some way or another, convincing her to go to his home. He said he needed to talk in a more loosened-up climate. Elliot Turner resided with his folks. Maybe that is the reason Emily went with him. Perhaps she figured he would act all the more smoothly within the sight of his folks. Neighbors saw them go inside the house. The next morning, Anita Turner, Elliot's mom, called the crisis administration saying Emily was not awakening. It was around 9:00 a.m. Before the appearance of the rescue vehicle, Anita paid attention to the administrator's guidelines on the most proficient method to help Emily. Tragically, when the emergency vehicle showed up, the main thing they could do was to express the demise of Emily Longley. Anita was an Indonesian resident who came to the UK to wed Lee Turner. When the couple had a child, they didn't deny him anything, which was a serious mix-up during her discussion with the crisis administration. Off administrator Anita's voice didn't seem like the voice of a fair track down her. Child's mother, sweetheart, dead. She was excessively quiet, as though the same old thing had happened great many miles from Britain. In New Zealand, Emily's dad, Imprint, awakened at 2 a.m. and saw a lot of missed calls from his ex Caroline and more youthful girl Hannah. There was likewise a voice message from Hannah, yet Imprint could scarcely make out what she was talking about. Then he heard Caroline shout behind the scenes, and her words, Emily is dead. Imprint wouldn't really accept that he called his mom in Britain when she addressed his entire world self. Distracted, his mom was crying madly. Minutes after the fact, one of the cops took her telephone. I'm sorry to let you know that your girl Emily is dead. He said Imprint couldn't really accept that after all, Emily was perched on his love seat and grinning simply 7 days prior, traveling to the UK. The anguish-stricken dad actually declined to accept that his girl was dead. However, tragically, it was anything but a fantasy. The deficiency of the oldest little girl was quite difficult for Emily's folks. The police let them know that Emily had kicked the bucket in her rest. It had neither rhyme nor reason. She was youthful and solid. The police gathered some proof. Yet it was indistinct what befallen Emily they needed to hang tight for the post-mortem results. Elliot Turner's folks, Anita and Lee, told specialists they had been home the entire evening and had not heard anything since dubious. Elliot freely grieved Emily by posting photographs of them together on his Facebook page. The police had nothing impenetrable to discredit the account of Turner and his folks that Emily bafflingly passed on in her rest. During the examination of any demise, the primary variable is to decide the reason for it. When specialists find the reason for the casualty's passing, they comprehend what they are managing and how to lead an examination while sitting tight for the dissection results. The specialists figured out that a couple of days before her demise, Emily had posted something peculiar on her Facebook page. "I have a stalker," she added. "Somebody just called me, and I resembled who's this? And they resembled you don't have any acquaintance with me yet. I have a deep understanding of you." And I was like, "How could you get my number?" And he was like, "I'll let you know when I see you," and continued to ask me out. So I hung up, and they won't quit calling, Emily composed on Thursday, May 5th. Simultaneously, the police figured out how to figure out that, before her passing, Emily squabbled with Elliot Turner, before other club visitors subsequent to talking Turner's companions. Examiners covered that he attempted to control everything Emily might do, that he learned about her gathering with one more man, and above all that Elliot took steps to end her life ordinarily. Yet, his companions connected no significance to this, accepting that these were simply words with which Turner reinforced his picture of a criminal. The autopsy didn't give a definite reason for Emily's passing anyway. Specialists referenced it very well. Maybe strangulation, and one of them said the actual discoveries are altogether predictable, with pressure being applied to the neck. Examiners accept that one of the Turner relatives could be associated with Emily's demise, so they chose to introduce listening gadgets in their home. The police were wanting to see whether they were concealing anything, and they were more right than wrong to do that. They heard Elliot teaching his mom on the most proficient method to act with the police, and what she expected to say. His dad, Lee Turner, appeared to be the main individual who comprehended what he was doing, was off base. However, at last he submitted to the desire of his child and spouse. While paying attention to the accounts, examiners likewise heard what befell Emily Longley. Elliot Turner conceded that he caused her demise. They captured Elliot Turner 7 days after Emily's passing. He obviously denied his responsibility. His legal advisors attempted to challenge the realness of those sound accounts anyway. Having concentrated on all parts of this case, the appointed authority permitted the indictment to involve the accounts as proof, not realizing the police were listening. Elliot conceded that he felt furious consistently, and that nobody had at any point irritated him as much as Emily. During the preliminary in May 2012, his legal counselor expressed that their client acted with good reason. Elliot Turner said that the squabble in his room turned rough, and he needed to snatch Emily by the neck. He said he didn't choke her. He just found her dead in his bed the following daytime. During the second day of the preliminary, Turner let the court know that he was nauseated by his activities that evening, purportedly subsequent to finding Emily dead. He composed a letter to his mom saying how embarrassed he was and that he was leaving for Spain. One can expect Elliot Turner planned to leave the country upon the arrival of Emily's demise, yet altered his perspective for reasons unknown. When the police showed up at Turner's home, after the 9.99 call, they saw gathered packs. Elliot's identification was in his pocket. He conceded in court that he had compromised Emily and felt upset and deluded the night prior to her demise, subsequent to seeing bogus messages on her telephone, saying he had crushed her face into a table. While depicting the battle they had before her passing, he referenced Emily began beating him with her hands and feet. He attempted to quiet her down prior to surrendering and tossing her a 20 LB note for a taxi. He said she just overlooked me at first. Then 5 seconds after the fact, she just went off the deep end. I had never seen Emily arrive at that mark of fury. I didn't have the foggiest idea what to do. She wouldn't stop. I continued to rehash the same thing. Stop it, quiet down. By then, I snatched her by the neck, utilizing my right hand. Protection Board, Anthony Dunn inquired as to for what reason did you do that. Turner answered to stop her going crazy. I didn't have the foggiest idea what to do. My right hand connected with her neck. When the safeguard counsel asked how hard he got her, Turner answered, I wouldn't agree exceptionally hard yet. It was very hard. I snatched her and pushed her down onto the bed. I pushed down on her neck. When she was in the resting position, he said he held her there for 5 or 6 seconds, then let go and stomped out of the room. When inquired as to whether he expected to kill Emily, Turner answered no. He said he thought Emily had nodded off purportedly. He understood Emily was dead. Just when she didn't get up the next morning in a meeting with the Herald paper, Emily's dad, Imprint, talked about how hard it was for him to lose his little girl. Here's the thing about death. It sucks. It doesn't make any difference in the event that it is your youngster, your accomplice, or your 99-year-old grandma. It sucks that an individual is there one day and not the following. Great. It isn't something we can manage without any problem. All commemorations are hard. Birthday celebrations are hard. Christmas is hard. Easter is likewise extreme, since it was the last time I truly invested energy with her. Imprint. Longley said he said the heaviest part was that he could never see the lady she might have become. I miss seeing the existence she was denied unfurl. We had a short look at the lady she was becoming, and I was so pleased with her. I'm her dad, and obviously I'm one-sided, yet the world truly was a superior spot with her in it. Was unquestionably much more fun. At the preliminary, they depicted Elliot Turner as a ruined, well-off kid whose guardians needed to assist him with getting away from discipline. The court heard he was given the run of the family's home in the princely sovereign's park area of Bournemouth, where he would hold parties for his middle-class companions. Depicted as wild by his dad, Lee, he was given his own residing space in the changed-over carport of his folks' home, so he could go back and forth without upsetting them. It was in his room, which had its own scaled-down bar, that he strang Emily on his bed. The police analyzed the PCs seized from Turner and found the accompanying pursuit questions demise by strangulation and how to stay away from discipline for a wrongdoing. The primary thought process of the wrongdoing was envy. The court heard declaration from Luke Ashford, who went through the night with Emily as currently referenced Elliot Turner, learned about it even while in guardianship. Turner flaunted that the jury would accept his curved story that Emily had gone after him and he had acted justifiably when he choked her in an attack of desire. In letters from his jail cell to his companions, he said he would before long drive another reach meanderer and move to Spain. He wanted to offer the freedoms to his story and carry on with a popular life anyway. The jury immediately broke his deceptions when they viewed him to be entirely blameworthy. On May 22, 2012, the court condemned Elliot Turner to life in jail with a base term of 16 years. Reporting the decision, Mrs. Equity Does portrayed Turner as a man of striking haughtiness. She said Emily was a wonderful, kind, fun-loving young lady who carried a beam of daylight to those she contacted. That light has been smothered unexpectedly and unnecessarily by you. You didn't cherish her. She was only apprised the relationship in the event that it very well may be called that was about you. It was about control. You completed, utilizing hostility and dangers you can take care of, contemplations of champagne Bentley and young ladies, and focus on the explanation you are carrying out a daily existence punishment. Mrs. Equity Does likewise condemned Turner to 9 months to run simultaneously for distorting the course of equity. Be that as it may, Elliot Turner wasn't the main individual being investigated. His folks Anita and Lee, whom Turner utilized for money to subsidize his rich, celebrating, adored their child. Such a lot of they attempted to cover his wrongdoing. Lee obliterated Turner's admission letter, and Anita took the coat from the room where the letter supposedly was his mom, even deferred calling a rescue vehicle. so her child could cover his tracks and let the family think of a persuading story for the police. At the point when inquired as to why she didn't call a rescue vehicle, Anita Turner answered that she didn't really accept that Emily was dead under interrogation. They inquired as to whether she naturally suspected Emily had demolished her child's life, following an interruption of 6 seconds. She answered no. In the recording, Lee found out if they had made the best choice. We've made the best decision, Anita answered. Both 51-year-old Anita Turner and 54-year-old Lee Turner were viewed as at fault for debasing the course of equity and condemned to 27 months in jail. Mrs. Equity Linda Dew said, "You two decided to battle the case, showing little regret, Mr. Turner. You guaranteed you didn't have a clue about the items in the letter when you obliterated it. However, the reality it was consuming on your heart is very clear from your anguished manner of speaking on the tape delivered in 2013, subsequent to carrying out portion of their punishment. They actually live in the house where Emily Longley kicked the bucket." Emily's father imprint separated as he talked about the decisions after the case upheld by previous spouse Caroline and girl Hannah. He got out, "Whatever we have heard over these 5 weeks has stunned us and disturbed us. That a man so malevolent like Turner could deal with a delicate and cherishing young lady like Emily so brutally is too much. We are so glad for the way that she had come most of the way all over the planet to cause a superior life for herself. This is a day-to-day existence Turner chose to end." Imprint said there was a ton of discuss Turner's gloating, and that nobody had viewed his alarming statement in a serious way. Until it was past the point of no return, he added even his mom didn't view in a serious way when he messaged her to tell her he planned to break Emily's neck. Maybe in the event that somebody had viewed his aggressive statement in a serious way, Emily may be with us. Today, I trust Turner languishes consistently in jail over what he has done in October 2020. The press announced that Elliot Turner's fellow prisoners had beaten him in jail. It occurred after he hung up photographs of Emily in his cell and bragged getting letters from female fans. A portion of his fellow prisoners went after him after he said he would before long revisitation of his life, brimming with champagne Bentley and birds in 5 years. Turner will reserve the option to apply for early release from jail. One might dare to dream that good judgment will win, and that the parole board will pursue the ideal choice in regards to an individual who actually has no regret for his activities. Absolutely. If you enjoyed the introduction to Unfit Frame, feel free to hit the like button to show your support. Additionally, don't hesitate to leave a comment sharing your thoughts, suggestions, or any specific topics you'd love to see covered on the channel. Your engagement is valued and helps shape the content to better suit the interests of the Unfit Frame community. Thanks for being a part of the journey.